like that. Girl, that's what this one.
Oh, that's cute. Them probably gonna be bulky too, with them
You think
diamonds
so?
on them. It's them
Well,
diamonds.
the diamonds might, but the fingernail polish, it
Oh,
shouldn't. You know, I'm gonna tell her.
polish that's all thick like that.
Mm-hmm. Tell her I don't
Oh,
want
it's
no.
probably that acrylic, that colored acrylic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got me some of that. I had it on my toes. It's still, even without filing it down, it still tore my nail cuticle
Oh.
nails up when I peeled it off. You're not supposed to peel it off. But anyway, welcome to another video. It is I, Miss Tiff, the Great. But we're gonna do a style here today. It has nothing to do with the video, but enjoy it anyway. What we're going to talk about today is wicks and why they need to stop happening, like ASAP. They need to stop happening. People's hair is getting destroyed, and I don't think it's clicking what's causing it, but like all the rappers keep turning up bald headed, and it's really, I'm sure they ain't talking about it. It's gonna end up in a rap song though, but I know that they really need to share the fact that their hair is falling out due to getting them wicks, because Future's locks were fine until he wicked his hair, and now he's bald headed. My favorite rapper, Rex Life Raj, you maybe if you've heard of him, maybe you haven't, but same thing. Got wicks, hair started falling out. And it's just so sad because they've been having locks for years that were well maintained and well cared for, and then they wick it and then their hair falls out, and people aren't putting two and two together, and they're still bringing me pictures. I want my hair like Future's. I want my hair like this. That's gonna make your hair fall out. You're gonna lose your locks. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about why. Because you've never seen long wicks that started out short and grew to that, and you won't, because you can't grow your hair like that. So that anytime you've seen long wicks, it's because somebody took healthy locks that they've taken care of for years and then used that tool to mat them all together, and then shortly after, a couple months tops, all the hair's falling out. It's disrespectful, so let's talk about it, because the science is bad. The science says that you can't do that, and the reason being is that curl pattern determines lock size, and locks too big or too small for the curl pattern are always going to break off. Always. And wicks are just entirely too big. I've seen people's locks break off when their locks are just slightly too big for the curl pattern. Wicks are way too big for the curl pattern. So what it is that your curl has a size. Everybody's curl has its own unique size. And if you have a curl this size sitting next to a curl this size, same curl size all over your head, but you try to group all three of those together in a lock, these curls over here are trying to sit over here, but you're pulling them over here. Now they're being pulled this way. And these curls are trying to sit over here. Now they're being pulled that way. And these ones are okay, but what's going to happen is these curls are going to break off, these curls are going to break off, and you're just going to have loose, short hairs over here. Loose, short hairs. And then this is going to be one big fat lock hanging by a little bitty thread. Does that make sense? That's what happens when it breaks off. But it's mainly because the curls that are coming over from over here and the curls that are coming from over here do not want to reach that far away from where they're growing at and stay. You can put them there, but as you move around and your hair's pulling this way and that way, and the weight of it, because wicks are freaking heavy, they're pulling this way and that way. Every time you bend over, every time you turn, the hair's moving back and forth. Those hairs are being strained. Weight's being pulled against them, and they're being strained, and they're gonna snap. And that's actually best case scenario. Best case scenario is that those hairs snap and pop and break, and that the hairs actually break and become shorter. Because what happens if the hair is strong, and so the hair doesn't break, what happens is the hairs break out of the scalp. And when the hairs break out of the scalp, that's when you start running the risk of balding. So people that are able to keep their wicks for longer than a few months, because the hairs don't break, the hair breaks at the scalp, you have to wait for that hair to grow back. When it grows back in, they're taking it and they're pulling it all the way back. They're pulling it back to that wick. Well, what happens after that hair's feeling like it's being pulled too tight? it's going to break again. And so the more times hairs break directly out of your scalp, the more you're running the risk of going actually bald. Like actual, what would they call it? It's not traction alopecia. It's not friction alopecia. We're going to call it pulling too damn tight alopecia because the curl is trying to be over here and you're pulling it clear over there and it doesn't want to be over there. So it's going to snap. It's going to snap and it's going to break, and it's either going to break the hair or it's going to break your scalp. And if it breaks out of the scalp too many times, it just never, ever grows back. And that'd be sad, you know, especially when you've been growing your hair for years and now you got to cut it all off because it's all hanging on by a thread. What they say, Lil Wayne's hair looked like it was falling off the bone. Like the hair's falling off the bone. You can't go out with it. You'll see people with wigs start wearing hats a lot, and that's when you know it's almost over. They start wearing those hats, and then that's when it's almost over. They're wearing hats because they got all this tiny little short afro that's not long enough yet to be pulled back to the center, hanging around. The afro, all this loose afro hanging around, big old fat locks that are hanging on by a thread. They're hanging by a thread, and they're just waiting for that hair to grow. They're wearing hats. They're waiting for that hair to grow just enough so they can stretch it back to that weak spot where the hair broke off from. It broke because it didn't want to be there. It's not comfortable there. It's not happy there. You're forcing it there, and it's breaking your hair. It's breaking it. Listen, I titled this "Stop Doing Wicks" because you that are doing them, you're breaking people's hair off. And then apparently disappearing. Because see, I don't see anybody on the internet talking about how bad wicks are for your hair. But, because I constantly see people doing them. But I don't see anybody talking about how bad they are for your hair. And I don't see anybody coming on the internet saying, hey, don't get wicks. They made my hair fall out. Like, as they should. They should be like, hey, it's going to make your hair fall out like it made my hair fall out. Let me do a good deed for the community and tell them, hey, stop doing this to your hair because this is what it did to my hair. Nobody's doing that. But guess who they call? Just like the sister lock video where nobody's going on the internet saying sister locks broke their hair off or that all their sister locks came out, start falling out in patches. Nobody does that. But guess who they call? They call me. And they say, hey, do you know how to fix wicks? And I say, hey, I wish you would have called me before you got them because you can't fix wicks. You can cut all your hair off. And if you're smart, you won't do it again. But, yeah, you can't fix them. Once they're like that, they're like that. And now you got to lose all your hair. And honestly, I hope my favorite rapper, Rex Like Raj, if you're listening, I hope you start your locks over again. I hope you let me start them because honestly, like, for real. But, yeah, start your locks over and don't let nobody wick them this time because, no, hair was doing good and then boom, you get wicks 6 months later, if that, they're gone. That is so sad. But yeah, even sister locks can last some years. Wicks will not last, years. Those curls, if the curl is tight, it's not trying to reach. So I was just looking at Deontay, what's his name? Deontay Kyle's locks. And they look like wicks, but I don't think they are. And so we might see his hair actually last for a while because he has big, thick locks. But I've had clients that have big, thick locks. The thing about it is that they had a very loose curl. So if you have, where did I put my marker at? If you have big old fat curls, you can have big fat locks. And they'll look and be healthy and you won't have any breakage. But if you don't have a big, fat, loose curl, you just can't do it. You just can't. You can't. You can't have. We can't always get what we want. Ain't that the saying? You can't always get what you want. Don't want something that's going to break your hair off and then you won't lose all your hair. But honestly, I really blame the stylist, which is why I titled this the way that I did, because maybe when you first started doing wicks, you didn't know that the hair was going to fall out. But at some point, you started noticing that those wicks are falling out. And instead of telling your clients in Atlanta, that's where we are, that this isn't good for your hair, we need to start over and do something different, you just move to Houston and start doing more people's wicks in Houston. You need to stop doing that. You know your client's hair is falling off. Stop disappearing on them, because every time they call me and asking me, do I know how to fix wicks, I'd be like, what happened to the lady that did this to you? Y'all just met her not that few months ago. How does she disappear that fast? All of a sudden, they can't get her on the phone. She's not answering the call. She done blocked their number. Whatever the case. You're breaking people's hair off, and then you're disappearing on them, and that's wrong. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. Don't do that to people. It's not right. Because yeah, they're charging you $2,000 to ruin your hair, and then they're disappearing, and then you can't find them, and then you're calling me to fix it, and then you're getting bad news because you can't fix it. You can cut it, you can start over. Most of the rappers so far just cut them off, and they've been wearing their hair in short afros or coloring it and doing different things with it to still do something fun with it, because your locks was your signature rapper look, and now it's over. It's so cruel, but it's because you're just trusting any old body with your hair, and you shouldn't do that. You should do some research. You should find out if people know what they're actually doing. You should actually find somebody that's had wicks for 6 or 7 years. You won't find them because you can't. Because you can't have wicks. Now you can have fat locks if you have a loose curl pattern, but you cannot have wicks. You cannot have big fat locks if you have a skinny little tight curl pattern. If you have 4C hair, if somebody ever told you you have 4C hair, even though I don't subscribe to that, but if anybody's ever told you you have 4C hair, I assure you, you can't get wigs. You're going to lose your hair. You're going to absolutely lose your hair. And you know, I hope that y'all listening, and I hope that somebody gets helped from this video that didn't already have their locks. And I hope that some people that did wick their hair, that lost all their hair, can please get in the comments and tell everybody that I am in fact right. And I know that I'm right. But it would be nice if some of the people that have lost their hair from wicking it can come on the comments and admit that, yeah, this was a mistake, and I wish that somebody would have told me that I shouldn't do this because I'm going to lose my hair. Because they probably, if they knew, they wouldn't do it. A lot of my clients that have really long locks that I've said, I'm thinking about wicking it, when I tell them, like, don't do that, you're going to lose all your hair, they don't do that, and they get to keep all their hair. But my clients trust me, and I hope that you have a stylist that you can trust. If not, you know, I'm here. I'm around. I can be found. But let's stop doing stuff that we don't have any evidence of the longevity of, because wicks gonna break every time. Wicks gonna break off. I mean, sister locks too. That's why, you know, I tell people locks too big and too small, both always break. The difference is that when they're too small, you can still get some years out of them, and then when they're too small, you can fix them. When they're too big, it's a wrap. There's nothing you can do but cry and cut your hair off and start over, or just not have locks anymore, even though that was your look for a decade. There's no need to have to lose your locks for any reason. If you take care of them properly, they just keep growing. And if you ever had long wicks, you knew that, and now you lost your hair. For trusting somebody or trying a trend, I just don't recommend it. If it's trendy, you should give it some time. That's just my personal recommendation for anything that's trendy. Give it some time first before you jump on the trend. Like, it's dangerous to just jump on trends. You don't know what the long-term repercussions of these things are. So anyway, I hope that video was helpful to some. That information was helpful to somebody. Should I finish this video with the petals? We'll finish the video. I don't have anything else to say about wicks. I hope y'all save yourselves the trouble. If you haven't done it yet, but you were thinking about it, don't do it. If you're doing wicks, please just stop doing them and start doing something that's healthy for people. Because here's the thing. I don't have a business if my customers don't come back. So if my customer's hair is growing and doing well, then I have a business, because they need to come back every time the hair grows. The hair grows a little bit, they have to get redone so that they can keep their hair on their heads. So if I'm doing something that doesn't last, that breaks off in a couple months, after I've done all the clients I can do, it's over. I have no more business. I have to go back to whatever my previous job was if I was doing something else, because I'm doing something that has no longevity. The hair don't have no longevity. The career don't have no longevity. If you're doing something that makes people's hair fall off, like it's harmful to you. Because if you like doing locks as a career, you need to keep the hair on your client's head, or you don't have a career. You're out of job. Because if they don't have no hair, you gotta constantly be recruiting new clients. I barely have room for new clients most of the time because my clients come back. I do a good job, their hair keeps growing, they come back. But the hair breaks off, there's no client to come back, you're out of a job, you don't have a business, you gotta go back to work. at that job that you hated. Possibly. I don't know. I'm speculating. Projecting maybe. Because I never had a job that I liked except for this one. But I hope it makes sense, because your curl pattern determines your lock size. And you can be a little too big for the curl pattern and be okay. And you can be a little too small for the curl pattern and be okay. But if it's way too big, which is wicks, or way too small, micro locks, you're going to lose them. It's not a matter of if but when. And it's all because this is science. It looks like art. I get it. It looks good. If you know how to do it, you feel like you made it. But in truth, if you're not following the science, you're going to end up ruining somebody's hair and your business in the process. So, I hope that helps. And I hope my video works this time, because the last time I made this video, I was at the new salon in Lilburn, and apparently the internet over there is trash, because when I was done, it looked like I was recording the whole time, but then when I was done, I was so mad. Because when I was done, it was like a 10-second video. Oh, I was hot. Because I know I didn't just sit here and talk for 20 minutes and then I ain't got no evidence that it ever even occurred. And there's no way for me to go live and also record it just in case. So I won't be making no more videos over there till I move or get some better internet. It's probably for the best. But yeah, so stop doing it. Save yourself the trouble. You know, your clients will be much happier if their hair is like actually on their head and not on their pillowcase. So, you're welcome. And, you know, if there's any questions about any other topics y'all want to know, put them in the comments. I promise you, on this channel, I have already talked about everything, including wicks and micro locks. I've talked about it. But some of those videos are older. I get if you're just now finding me. You may not have seen them. So I will talk about it over and over again if that's what is necessary, because I mean, in all truth, that's all I do every day anyway, is talk about the same stuff over and over again. No oil, too big or too small always break. If you don't get your hair done on time, it's gonna break. It's low maintenance, but it's not no maintenance. These things are all I ever talk about. And so, ask away, and I'll make another video. I sure will. I really need to make videos more often. And for that, especially to any of my new subscribers, I apologize. I just be doing this all the time. And it's hard to give my undivided attention to the person in my chair, and also to the guys on the screen here. And I mean, I would like to, but it's just a lot. So forgive me and give me video ideas in the comments, and I'll make them. I actually have a list going, because it's just, when I make videos with my clients like this one, who I love so much, let me go live, I don't be having nothing to talk about, and so the videos be boring. So I said, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm just gonna have to talk about my topics, because nobody wants to hear me talk about petals again, do they? I mean, they might want to hear me talk about how to do petals, but I mean, if you see me, you can kind of see what's happening. So you can get some petal learning while also learning about why wicks are freaking bad. And so the next time somebody lets me go live, I'm probably going to do the same, talk about a topic completely unrelated to what I'm doing. This is just happens to be what's happening right now. But we're going to talk about the topics, because the topics are important. And if you are a black woman and you are watching this video and you do not have locks, lock your hair. I'm tired. Lock it, please. Like, I'm so tired of the we hate our hair and the natural hair movement failed and all of this stuff. Lock your hair. There's hair, they call them hair influencers that I follow, just so I can go in the comments every time they get to complaining and say, lock your hair. You will be happy. Like, are you happy?
I'm happy.
It's beautiful. Lock your hair. Stop playing with us. Like, lock it. Then you won't have to be complaining. You won't have to be unhappy. You won't have to not be able to go in the pool. You won't have to, like, lock your hair. Stop playing around. And if you are a woman that has locks and you haven't locked your daughter's hair, lock your daughter's hair. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why is your hair growing now down your back and your daughter's hair is still struggling because you're putting weave braids and stuff in, the same stuff that you were doing, that your parents were doing to your hair that didn't work? So when you went to high school, you didn't have long hair. Lock your daughter's hair so when she goes to high school, she can have long hair. That's her hair. Like, it's rude, honestly. Teenage girls wearing wigs is the most despicable, depressing thing I ever seen. Teenage girls coming to me, starting their locks while they're already having like serious traction alopecia on their edges is devastating. When if somebody would have locked their hair when they were 10, they'd have hair down there to their butt right now. It's so rude. It's so rude. And then they'll tell me, I don't want to choose that for my daughter. She needs to choose it for herself. Who is choosing those box braids? Because she's 6. Who's choosing that? Who's choosing the balls and the barrettes and the beads and the weave braids? Is she choosing that? Or is she just choosing that because that's the options that she has? I don't think she's choosing that. I think that you as the mom choose all her hairstyles, as you should, and you have the right to lock your daughter's hair. You do. It's your daughter's hair. You're the one that has to do it. And I promise you, retwisting her locks and styling up her locks is going to be easier than any other hairstyle she could possibly even ask for. Not only that, but she can get all those same styles with locks. Like, what? You can get all those same styles. We're doing all those styles. We're doing pin curls. Somebody asked me, she's waiting on her hair to get long enough, but I got a French roll I got to do soon. As soon as that hair get long enough, she said, I'm getting a French roll. I said, period. Because I haven't done a French roll yet. And why haven't I? Just because nobody's asked? Because I can do a French roll. There's nothing that I can't do in locks. There's nothing that I can do in a regular loose hair that I can't do in locks. I just haven't had nobody ask for it and or pay for it. Because, of course, I pay for it. I mean, duh. But it ain't, it's a fraction of the cost of a wig. A fraction. And I'm going to wash it. We're just talking about that. And it's going to get clean, too.
I remember I have a neighbor, he asked me about wigs. And I told him what you said. Does she do wigs? Nope.
No way. I would never do it. When people ask me, they be messaging me, hey, do you do wigs? I say, I would never do that to nobody. I would never do that to nobody. And they be like, what? Why? Now I'm going to just send them this video. Because I did make a video prior to, like 3 years ago, that said locks too big or too small always break. And I was addressing wicks and micro locks in the same video. But then I hate listening to my voice back, so I just post them. You know? If nothing happened in the video that I needed to edit, then I just post it. And so I went back and listened to it recently and was like, oh, I gotta make that video again because the sound was all jacked up. And I think that was around the time when I was realizing that I needed a microphone. My phone was all, I don't know, listen. What I do know is the video didn't turn out good, and so I get if nobody learned from that one. Fine. Learn from this one. Don't wick your hair. It's devastating. And it's devastating quickly. Like, you don't even get a lot of time with those wicks before they take your hair out. I hope somebody in the comments will vouch for me, because I promise you I ain't lying. Alright, well, we got one. We got the little lock knot bangs coming on. And we're gonna do the rest off camera. Y'all have a great, what's the day? Wednesday? Y'all have a great Wednesday. You know, man, I never know what day it is. And we'll see you guys next time.